Hello and welcome to your festive IBM update for December 2025, your monthly digest into what's been happening within the IBM community. Now, if you've been following previous updates, you'll already know about Project Bob. But there's been a little movement in this space, so a quick update on what we've learned from the latest hands-on previews and IBM's own commentary from earlier this month. First, with some insight from Gregory Simmons, who was granted early access. Now, one of his first observations was that Bob isn't being delivered as a simple VS Code extension. Instead, IBM has taken a fork of VS Code. Now, this gives them far more control over how Bob behaves and evolves. That's a subtle but important shift from the Watson coding assistant because it removes some of the limitations IBM has had with its earlier tooling. Now, from an early user perspective, Gregory explained that Bob can already pull in existing VS Code settings and extensions, which should help reduce friction for any teams moving across. And it feels like IBM is being very deliberate about not forcing developers to start from scratch. This can only be a good thing. Another new insight is how Bob handles coding standards and conventions. So, rather than hard coding rules, Bob uses markdown-based style guides that teams can define themselves. This gives organizations a way to codify how we do things here and have Bob reinforce it consistently. This could be particularly useful in mixed experience teams. There are also early signs of Bob beginning to understand application context. Not just individual files, but in preview, Bob was able to detect missing objects and even suggest placeholders, which hints at where things are heading once deeper IBM integration arrives. So, very positive signs that suggest Bob may be closer than we actually think. Now, if you want to read the full article and see what Gregory says, please see the link and click on that from IT Jungle somewhere down there. Within another article, Alex Woody spoke with IBM's chief architect, Steve Will, on what exactly to expect. Now, in summary, what I read was that it's clear that Bob is being designed to support the entire development lifecycle, not just to write code faster. The emphasis on Bob is to help developers understand existing applications, explain legacy logic, refactor safely, and support modernization. And this is good as it's here in which many IBM teams struggle today. What's particularly noteworthy is the expectation around I mode. While Bob today is still limited in how deeply it can see into IBM systems, I mode is expected to unlock native access to RPG, CL, database objects, and application structures. That's where Bob moves from just a useful to potentially transformational. IBM has also confirmed that Bob is intended to supersede Watson Code Assistant over time. That signals a consolidation of IBM's AI tooling around this platform-specific assistant rather than generic AI being retrofitted into the IBM. Overall, the direction feels very deliberate. This isn't about chasing hype, it's about building something that actually understands how IBM environments really work and how it can make itself useful throughout the development lifecycle. Again, a link for the full article should be somewhere down below. Alongside all the excitement around the new tooling like Project Bob, at this festive time of the year, it's also worth stepping back and remembering why IBM continues to be such a strong platform in the first place. In his latest Mark's Musings post on LinkedIn, Mark McDonnell makes the point that many of the negative perceptions around IBM come from people who've never actually worked with it. If your experience is limited to other platforms, it's easy to assume IBM is outdated, when in reality, as we all know, it's just designed differently. So in his article, Mark provided some timely reminder of what makes this platform great. And I thought, as it's the holiday season, I'd share this summary with you. So, one of the first things Mark highlighted is integration. It's baked in. On IBM, the operating system, database, security, and workload manager are all part of that dough that we knead together and rise together to make our daily bread. Now, all bread metaphors aside, this level of integration removes a lot of that complexity that other crusty old platforms push back onto the application or the infrastructure teams. He also talks about reliability and availability, which is something long-time IBM customers almost take for granted. Businesses running IBM systems often measure downtime in minutes per year, not hours or days, and that stability is incredibly valuable for core systems that the business depends on every single day. Security is another big differentiator. IBM's object level security and default lockdown model means that there are many vulnerabilities elsewhere simply don't exist in the same way. When security is baked into the platform rather than layered onto it, it significantly reduces operational risk. Finally, Mark touches on performance and efficiency. IBM is designed to handle high volume transactional workloads extremely well, without needing armies of servers or complex tuning. That effectively is being the big reason why many businesses quietly continue running on IBM, even when experimenting with other platforms around the edges. So taken together, it's a strong reminder in this festive season that IBM isn't surviving despite modern technology, it's still thriving because of its architecture. And tools like Project Bob are really about making those strengths easier to access for today's developers, not replacing them. This, I hope, is a timely reminder at Christmas that we work on the best platform on the planet. Joy to the world. A link to this post is contained below too. And I encourage you all to give Mark's article a read in full. It's a great winter warmer. And that is it for this edition of the IBM Update, and indeed the update in 2025. So I do hope you've enjoyed all the articles from this year, and I look forward to providing more postings in 2026. Of course, for more like this and previous episodes, please see our blog on the Proximity website, and of course on LinkedIn too. But for now, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas from me and all at Proximity, your IBM partners that are in your corner. We'll see you next year. Goodbye and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.